Hello everyone, very good morning. My name is Anupam. Uh, so this is our sixth week, which we are discussing some great topics live online. Um, our aim has been to bring up uh, some insights which you will not get usually outside, certain finer aspects. Today I've done something different. I've sort of uh, created some odd one out questions from the existing parajumbal questions, paragraph formation questions. I have twisted them. I have added some lines of mine, which are obviously the odd one out, and you have to find those lines which I have added, and I have deleted a line which was already there. Then I have placed a line which looks correct, but it's not. So there's a little twist. Let's start. I think I'm cutting down a little right now. Let me just see whether I'm how is it. I think this is better. Let's start. So, like I said, my name is Anupam. I have trained more than 3,000, more than 2,500 candidates for CAT, and I have more than 3,000 hours of CAT training, uh, which I've trained students for more than 3,000 hours of CAT, and say including whatever I've done in last 2-3 months. This year will be almost 3,100 or 200 plus. And behind these hours, you can say you can double them up are the hours of, why I say two will be the hours of in which I have prepared. I've done the research before I walk into the class. So you can imagine about 7,000 hours of at training and the preparation behind them. If you compare the number of hours in which I have in which I have created questions as a content developer in my last assignment, in my last company, this figure will cross 10,000 very, very easily. So to stay in touch, download and install Unacademy Learning app. Go to Plus, Cat, and subscribe. Here you will get these 5 options, out of which anything more than 12 months makes sense. If you look at the pricing, it is 18,900 for 24 months and 15,750 for 12 months. After applying the code, Saxena 10 has a discount code. Also, there are a lot of free apps. There are a lot of free features which are there on the app. That is your Sunday is special classes, and also there are a lot of live classes. So if you don't attend those classes in live, they'll be recorded like any other CAT videos, any other YouTube videos. The kind of videos which we have here also on YouTube, they're all recorded, because this video, after the live stream has ended, this this video you can revisit n number of times. So in a similar fashion. And then there are no cost EMI available on 6, 12 and 24-month subscription. Please utilize them, and also try and use our free apps, free services which are special live classes and quick. So when it comes to odd one out, what happens is that basically the odd one out will talk about something that is not relevant to the paragraph. It's something which you cannot relate. If you understand the entire paragraph, you will not be able to relate it to the to whatever we have discussed thus the paragraph. Second thing is that keywords used in odd one out sentences can be same as the other lines, but the ideas will not be in agreement with the other ideas of the. So keywords used can be same, but ideas will not be in agreement with the other ideas of. There will be a lot of difference. So that is how it is. And let's go to the questions. Let's try and solve them. So this is again a question which came a couple of years back at para summary question. Sorry, as a para jumbled paragraph question. And what I have done is that I have modified this question and I have added a line which was not there in the original question. So I have made a odd one out question out of a para formation. If you read 5 lines, you will find that things are common, but you will find that one of them is odd one out. One of them will not fit into the entire schema of things. It will not be in agreement, it will not be in unison, it will not agree. The unity of paragraph not stay if we consider that line specifically. The study suggests that the disease did not spread with such intensity, but it may have driven human migrations across Europe and Asia. The study suggests that disease did not spread with such, but it may have driven human, talking about some disease here. Okay? And did not spread means it's talking about somewhere in past. It may have driven human migrations across Europe and Asia. Second says the oldest sample came from an individual who lived in southeast Russia about 5,000 years ago. So we're talking about some sample which came. So this is also about olden times. Probably they're talking about migrations across Europe and Asia. Could be Russia, can be an angle. 5,000 years ago. Third says DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid is the hereditary material in human beings and almost all other organisms. Now this line is talking about, so we were talking about disease, we were talking about migrations, we were talking about sample, probably a sample from which the DNA test was done, we don't know about. And then it talks about, it says that DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid is the hereditary material in humans. So this talks about definition of DNA. Okay. Now, don't you think that just by reading one or two events, you can tell that 3 doesn't fit with them? Okay. If we find one more line which is in sync with 1 and 2, then 3 is an absolute odd one out. Why? Because 1 and 2 talk about disease, migration, old samples. 3 talks about DNA, and its definition. Also, it talks about DNA being hereditary material. We are talking about disease. Let's read forth. In the analysis of the fragments of DNA from 101 Bronze Age is skeletons of sequences from Yersinia pestis, the bacterium that causes the disease. 7 tested positive. It says that, yeah, one talks about DNA. DNA talks about with respect to disease. 101 Bronze Age is skeletons, human remains, bones were found from the Bronze Age. That means that is again with Bronze Age is very old. It is almost a time which we're talking about in line number 2. Also, it is a sample. So 101 Bronze Age is skeletons referred to the second line in terms of samples. Also, some diseases are talking about the bacteria, which is also said in 1. Third is talking about DNA and what it is, and it doesn't fit into the entire system here. That's one thing. Let's read next. But however, the term DNA has come. So like I said in the previous slide, that some keywords possibly they're repeated, right? It's possible, but probably they are not they are not related. The idea presented is something different. Okay, here they're talking about some disease which has happened in past, which has resulted in migration and older samples coming from somebody who lived as long back as 5,000 years ago, and DNA samples from the similar period. The DNA from Bronze Age human skeletons indicate that the Black Plague could have emerged as early as 3000 BCE, long before the epidemic that swept through Europe in mid-1300s. DNA from Bronze Age skeletons indicate that the Black Plague could have emerged 3000 BC, also 3000 BCE, and 5,000 years into, they're all connected, because if you consider 2020, add 3000 to it, it will be 5,000 years. So also, if you see 4 and 5 are connected, because 4 is talking about DNA from 101 Bronze Age is skeletons. 5 talks about DNA from Bronze Age human is skeletons. 5 talks about the plague, and 4 talks about the bacterium that causes the disease, right? And this is how it sort of connects. So third one, DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid, this one is the odd one out. Now we have one more odd one out in front of us. Same, it was actually a CAT question of paragraph formation style and modified that. This visual turn in social media has mainly accentuated this announcing style of ours, enabling us with easy to create, easy to share, and easy to store, and easy to consume platforms, gadgets, and apps. Visual turn in social media has accentuated. Accentuated means increased, made it more stronger, basically. Accentuated this announcing instinct of ours. So this social media turn will be referring to some other reference which has been given earlier. So clearly this is not the first line, right? And announcing means that we tell people that we've arrived, or we are telling that we have been here. And there is a easy to create and easy to share, and all that stuff they're talking about. There is absolutely nothing new about us. Framing a vision of who we are or what we want, visually or otherwise, in a Facebook page, for example. Right? So it is so now this Facebook page is referring to, probably referring to this turn in visual media. This visual turn in social media, this is where it is referring to. Right? Then 3 comes turning the pages of most family albums, which belong to a period well before the digital dissemination of self-created and self-curated moments and images, would reconfirm the basic instinct of documenting our presence in a particular space on a significant occasion with others who matter. Also this happens, so they're talking about, so he talks about family albums in which people would document their presence with on. So if you remember the family album culture, there used to be this family album, and they people used to have some if you look at old family albums, probably of your parents' marriage, or of your say an uncle's younger uncle, or an older uncle to your father, their marriage, you will find a lot of that photographs were taken, and they were taken very, very properly, and all the important events were documented, and they were arranged in a very orderly. You will also find some older like even early photographs, say, of your parents and of your uncles going to school or college, or of their childhood, or of their or of some important birthday party. And you will find them also, if there were some family friends and they were very close, you will find their photographs also. Now this is same as what we do in Facebook. We add some important people into our friend list, and then we put up their photographs with us. So this, in that way, we tell them, okay, these people are important to us, these people have some value in our lives. Same thing happens in our Facebook profiles, and our Instagram profiles. Same thing is happening. So now this is all is connected. Okay, so it starts with 3 talking about family albums. Then it comes to 2 saying that there's nothing new, and we are doing same in our Facebook page. Then Facebook page is connected to 1 saying that this visual turn in social media has mainly accentuated this announcing instead of ours, enabling us to easy to create, easy to share, and then it goes on. Then it talks about 4th, 3, 2, 1, and then 4th. We are empowered to book our faces and act as celebrities within confinement of our respective friend list, communicate our activities, companionship, and locations with minimal click and touches. So we are acting as celebrities. Okay, and we are there is a this has we act as somebody who is very important, and we pose, and we we pose in front of camera, and we do certain things which we might not do in front of everybody else, but at least within our within our friend list we're comfortable ki haan these are the, and we uh, would like to talk to them about our activities, our friendships, our companionships. Then it talks about five. Five says at Facebook, by connecting people to life-saving help, hosting fundraisers for research, it is these acts of kindness and community that inspire them to build new. In 3, 2, 1, and then 4, we were talking about that how that we were comparing our announcing instincts, that our desire to document certain important phases, certain important events in our life, and we collate them, we curate them, and then we present in front of our people. Earlier we used to do in form of family albums. Now we do on our Facebook pages, and it has become easy to use and easy to create, and we are comfortable, at least in our activities. We have talked about Facebook, that at Facebook, by doing some corporate social responsibility stuff, by helping people in some way, they are inspired to build new tools and features that help people. Don't you think that fifth one is the odd one out, right? So what I did, I'll tell you this, very few people will tell you this. What I did, I understood that Facebook has come here. I went to internet and I looked for a phrase which has been used recently about Facebook, and I sort of modified it, and I deleted the fifth line, which was the last actual line, the actual conclusion of this paragraph, and I deleted it, and I pasted this creation of mine, whatever I created, and I sort of modified it little, and I took an idea from there, and I modified that idea a little, and I've. So what I did, because Facebook was used somewhere here, there was use some it could have sort of because somewhere tools were written, somewhere somewhere technology was also used, somewhere the words was also used. So I thought that this sort of line will be helpful in creating a new question. Let us use and let us present a new question in front of you. This is the twist which I've done. So yeah, this is how it is. So you can see that the entire 4 lines were talking about the human behavior in which we used to earlier create our moments in terms of the photographs. Now we do it in front of our Facebook profiles and from other our memories and our important connections. Fifth odd one out was talking about something else, about Facebook creating certain apps. Really, this question again, it's an actual CAT question. Scientists for the first time have managed to edit genes in a human embryo to repair a genetic mutation, fueling hopes that such procedures may one day be available outside laboratory. Cardiac disease causes sudden death in otherwise healthy young athletes, affects about 1 in 500 people overall. Mutation has been the source of many Hollywood movies, but it is really a simple process of a mistake made in a DNA sequence as copied. It is caused by a mutation in a particular and a child will suffer from condition even if it inherits one copy of mutated gene. In results announced in Nature this week, scientists fixed a mutation that thickens the heart muscle, a hypertrophic cardiac. Let's try and read it. Let's try and read how it is. One talks about what is the they're talking about some mutation and some modification the scientists which they have done to help people. Something this we've understood. Some genetic mutation has been repaired and it will be helpful in saving lives. This is all we can understand, right? Now let's try and see that which all of the five. Now remember that why is that important, that the idea will be very much connected, the lines will be very much connected. Why? Because there are only 4 to 5 lines, right? We don't have liberty of 4 or 5 paragraphs in which one paragraph will introduce, second will sort of take it forward, third will give the body, fourth will start to conclude and revise, and fifth will conclude it finally. We have just got 4 lines. They'll talk about a single topic, a single issue, unity of idea, agreement between the idea. There has to be a very strong affinity between all the sentences. The sentences cannot be of unrelated ideas, right? Let's start reading again. Scientists have for the first time managed to edit genes in a human embryo to repair a genetic mutation, fueling hopes that such procedures may one day be available outside laboratory conditions. Second talks about the cardiac disease causes sudden death in otherwise healthy young athletes and affects about 1 in 500 people overall. Okay. So some disease might be, there's a connection later on. He talks about mutation has been source of many Hollywood movies, but it's really a simple process of mistake made in DNA sequence as it is being copied. See, scientists have done something, repair they've done, cardiac disease happens, which otherwise could have killed so many people. Some connection is there. Remember we discussed after reading all the 5 lines, talking about some modification scientists have done at the level of mutation, which has helped some cardiac disease somewhere. Talking about mutation and source of many Hollywood movies, simple process of mistake made in a DNA sequence. This is all a connection which will not odd one out, right? 3 is an odd one out clearly, but let's see it further. It is caused by a mutation in a particular gene, and a child will suffer from condition even if it inherits one copy of the mutated. So this cardiac disease can connect to 4 because it is caused by mutation in a particular gene, and child will suffer from the condition even if it inherits one copy of the mutated. This connection is there. 5, in results announced in the Nature this week, scientists have fixed a mutation that thickens the heart muscles, a condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So here they're talking about a mutation which happens that thickens the heart muscle, which results in disease, which results in particular disease. It's called by mutation. It affects so many people, and but talking about mutation has been a source of many Hollywood movies, but it's really a simple process. This is something which is odd one out. Also, I think in talking about this, so we know that 3 is odd one out, but in talking about the sequence, I think I made a little mistake. First will come first, then comes 5. First talks about the human embryo addition. Some changes have been made, some repair have been done to repair the genetic mutation. Then comes 5, talking about mutation that thickens the heart muscles. And the hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Then comes 2, the cardiac disease causes sudden death in a otherwise healthy. So I was right. The hypertrophic cardiomyopathy refers to 2. So 1, 2. So 1, 5, and then 2. Cardiomyopathy refers to 2. The cardiac disease causes sudden death in otherwise healthy young athletes. Affects 1 in 500 overall people. Then comes 4. It is caused by mutation in a particular gene, and a child will suffer from the condition even if it inherits only one copy of the mutated gene. And then third one is your odd one. Right? The third one was actually a nice line which used to conclude this very paragraph, but I have modified it. I changed it, and I brought in a line which looks correct. Out talks about. So if you go to the first paragraph, if you go to the remember what we said, spoke about that, talks about something not relevant to the paragraph. The keywords used in the odd one out sentences can be same as, so paragraph odd one out talks about something not relevant to the paragraph. Keyword, so we would remember the last one. In this one, whatever we did, it is talking about genetic mutation. What is mutation? Mutation about Hollywood movies or just a simple error in the copying? We were talking about that scientists, the entire other 4 lines, what we're talking about, scientists have been able to modify, make some modification which has been helpful in a particular heart disease. So it will be, paragraph will be very something very specific, something which is very connected. Okay, and the lines which are odd one out will talk about something that is not relevant to the. Let's read the next line. Keywords used in odd one out can be same as the other lines. Mutation was used, right? Then if you remember, Facebook was used in the second odd one out, and Facebook was also used in my odd one out answer also. The line which is odd one out. In the line earlier, we talk about there was some mention of DNA based testing on Bronze Age skeletons, and how there was a disease found, and that disease might have resulted in migration. But my odd one out was talking about basically it was talking about the third number line, that DNA is the hereditary material in human beings, and it was nowhere related to the actual. So keywords used in odd one out sentences can be same as other lines, but ideas will not be in the other ideas. Let's try and so Unacademy subscription gives you live classes. It gives you to interact with educators, live polls and leaderboard, test series and analysis. It gives you live doubt sharing sessions. So at the same time, you will get a lot of if you use the app, you get a lot of free services, like you get free Sunday live classes, and you'll get quizzes also which you can take part. Like I said, it's a very good investment, and use the code Saxena10, get 10% off. Also, I think if you have began using test series, of you can still utilize this particular medium for getting advanced uh, advice from our doubt clearing sessions. You also get very advanced uh, analysis of what your performance is going out, is how you are progressing, what are the weak areas and strong areas, how you can improve upon your strong areas and weak areas depending upon your what is. Thank you very much. Join me